How is everybody doing? It's James. Welcome to Mechanical Mayhem, and this is the start of a multi-video series, which is going to be a playthrough of Mechwarrior 5 Clans. I have done a playthrough. I've mentioned this in prior videos. I did it over on my stream. You can check that out in the video description section for a link to that stream. But this is going to be a playthrough from start to finish over the course of many parts for here. Now, the idea behind it is to just enjoy the experience, tell the story. We're not going to skip any cutscenes or anything like that. We're going to drink it all in and enjoy the glory that is this game because it's so nice, I got to do it twice, right? So, with that said, each part, with the exception of this one, is going to basically be a mission and its corresponding any type of cutscene-esque stuff or whatever else following, right? So that's how I'm going to do it. When there are cutscenes, I'm going to do my best just to refrain from talking over it too much, if at all, because we want to experience those cutscenes, right? And basically, we're just going to enjoy it. We're going to go through. I'm going to give thoughts on things and my thoughts on the mission or what we're up against, and some random maybe factoids and things of that nature. It should be a good time. So definitely subscribe to be part of future videos more easily. Definitely share your thoughts in the comment section. This part one is going to be a little different. It's going to be probably a little bit longer because I'm going to cover the entirety of the Huntress arc here. So that is 2 missions you play, but there's also a lot of cutscene. It's fairly cutscene heavy, which is cool. I don't mind it at all. But because of that, it's going to be probably longer, or one of the longer videos out there. We're going to be doing this on just story mode difficulty. I ran most of the campaign in my first playthrough on normal. Not that big of a deal, but just to avoid potential headaches here and there and just keep it clean, I'm going to run on story mode. Honestly, the only difference in difficulty is how lucky or janky the enemy AI gets on hitting you repeatedly out of nowhere. So, I could go on and on, so let's just get started. We're going to jump into the campaign. I'm going to showcase everything from the start menu through to the end of the Huntress arc. So, let's get to it. Alrighty. We are going to start by making a new campaign, naming it Mayhem so I know which one it is, and I'll select story mode difficulty mostly because of just ease of dealing with things, especially in regards to sometimes with the AI, but we can cover that more so later, although normal is completely doable as well, casually, and we are off to the races. So this is going to be pretty cutscene heavy. The whole Huntress arc, the tutorial arc if you will, is cutscene heavy with a lot of exposition to kind of go over stuff. As such, I will talk through some of these cutscenes here and there, but I'll try and leave a lot of the juicy parts unobstructed by my voice, if you will. So here we are, getting ready to land.
We are Smoke Jaguar, strongest of the clans. We are hunters who fight with the ferocity of our namesake to stand unequaled amongst the children of Korinsky. We remember the bravery of our ancestors who gave themselves to the void, and of the despots responsible for their exodus. Through our strength, we lead the Crusaders to see the Great Father's dream realized. His hidden hope to one day return and reclaim paradise.
Like a landing procedure.
It is our sole purpose, our divine right. We will bring vengeance down upon the tyrants that enslave humanity. And they shall tremble before our might.
It's good to be back as a member of the clans. It's almost been 30 years since the last Mechwarrior game that let us play as the clans. We've had games within that span of time, but it's all been inner sphere focused, which is part of the reasoning I think for all this exposition and cutscene stuff as you need to kind of fill in newer players, either brand new to the setting, which is the Biotech setting, or just kind of newer and not fully fledged on things, because there's a lot in this setting. It's very dense. Cool mech bay, Stormcrow and a summoner. Elemental battle armor in the background. Love those things. You won't use them though because you're a Mechwarrior.
Well, sure beats Lunderholm.
At least there were no actual smoke jaguars hunting you in those jungles.
No, I'm with Mia. I'd rather get torn apart by large cats than have to climb those damn Grey Mountain cliffs again.
Gravity is lighter on this planet. Although you might want to watch your language, Liam.
I haven't a clue what you're talking about.
Eyes up. Kit Commander incoming.
At ease? I am Kit Commander Ibrahim Izmaria. This is Stalker Base, your new home for the final stretch of your Sibco training. Your cadre of the Elijah Hoyt and Abigail Ismail Sibco line has suffered numerous fatalities and washouts throughout your time on Lunderholm. Kit's Ezra, Jaden, Liam, Mia, Nasir. You five are the final vestiges of your brood that some deem might one day be of value to the clan. I am not one of them. To me, you five are the excrement of a failed, semi-aborted batch from my bloodhouse. Far from the pinnacle of humanity demanded by the clan's geneticists that spawned you! I am a gracious host. So I will give you the opportunity to show me what those Stravics on Lunderholm taught you. Show me what you know of being a real true-born Mechwarrior. And prove yourselves worthy of the name and heritage you carry with you. Suit up. Prepare for mech combat.
But, sir, we just arrived.
Did I ask you a question, kid? Real mech warriors should be combat ready the second they hit Atmo. You Surats able to be prepped and ready in the next 15 mics? Quiop!
Kit Commander.
You better get on it then. Dismissed.
Kit Commander. We will not fail.
Very brave. Very stupid.
Ibrahim Ismail's pretty great. I really like his character in this, and this whole cutscene, the whole setup. Really sets the stage. He's a blood-named warrior, which is a thing in the clans. You don't have a last name until you earn it. And that is the summoner we'll be piloting in the 2 missions. Because, you know, he's standing in front of it, staring at it, which is a nice setup for the fact that you will be piloting it. So, I think we finally are able to now get into the start of the first of 2 missions. Like I said, pretty cutscene heavy. Really like these loading screens, by the way. I just like the little semi-interactive, not interactive, but, you know, nature of the fact that they are indeed giving us a cool little loading screen with blinking lights or just some other animation or semi-animation in there. So, when it comes to these games, or MechWarrior 5 Clans and MechWarriors in general, it's a mech simulator game, which is funny because we don't actually have mechs to simulate, but it simulates some mechs and Battletech.
We're currently behind the controls of mankind's premier weapon of war,
A clan Omni-Mech. Although this is a training exercise, you are still controlling 4 stories of ferrous steel and Mechwarrior muscles strapped to a fusion engine. More than enough power to kill and be killed. You will respect that fact while you live under my command. If you do not, I will kill you myself and spare the laborer caste your incompetence. Now,
Sensors.
Here, I'm just playing around with the controls. It's going to snap me back to where I got to go because you're not supposed to move just yet. Alright. So there's going to be a lot of dialogue during the missions, but we'll just be talking anyway. You can see it's got a little screen of text and everything to help you out. So that's our star there. A star is comprised of 5 mechs, the star commander, and 4 other points. And we have a mix of medium and light and heavy. So we have the Mad Dog and the Summoner are heavy mechs. The Storm Crow and the Shadowcat are medium, and the Adder is a light. Pretty decent mech mix right here. And I gotta say, I was surprised that they gave us a Summoner Prime because it does have 3 weapon systems and that's it. But it is also, I guess, pretty stout, coming in at 70 tons out of a total of 100 tons, which would be the Assault Mech class and the heaviest that standard battle mechs can get. So we're a pretty heavy mech at 70. It also has jump jets, which I'm showcasing. This game looks great. I mean, I really like not just the mech design, but they did great with the base, with the whole terrain and features. They did a very good job, and they also did a great job with the cutscenes as well. So here we're just learning about our role as Star Commander. We're getting some little extra exposition all throughout. And I think this tutorial works pretty well. It gives you a grasp of your controls and more exposition that you can't avoid because it plays through as you do things, because the cutscenes are skippable and there will be people who just skip through stuff and be lost and confused. So we get a little bit of information about standing in pools of water to help cool off our heat dissipation. Heat is something we have to manage in these games as we use our equipment. So I appreciate the attention to detail throughout this game. The fact that they chose Lunderholm as the Sibco training area up until we got to Huntress. Lunderholm has some lore implications in Smoke Jaguar and Battletech that don't matter for the purposes of the game, but are just really cool to have sprinkled in there. Game looks so good. I really like Huntress. They did a great job with this location, even though you don't get to spend much time on it. So this is quite the live fire training exercise for just showing up. Just hit the landing pad and got brief, and here we are doing stuff. So as you can see, one of the things you have to keep track of that I sometimes am doing a poor job of is shooting in a way that your shots aren't blocked by terrain. You are piloting a mech, and as such, you have both your legs and your torso to consider, because you can move them independently unless you're using modernized controls, and even then I still think you can. So if you look at the radar, the dotted line arrow is the direction the mech is moving, so your leg direction more or less, and the little V, which is your forward arc, is where your torso is facing. And then the importance of that is weaponry in the arms will fire where you're looking, but torso will only fire so far. So as you see on the HUD, I have a reticle and then a reticle that's like 3 dashes that kind of moves around when you move. That signifies the arms and the torso and where they can fire. So I think that's pretty cool, and just a little added thing to keep track of, which makes sense considering this is a bipedal mech. So we're just learning how to move, how to do some basic firing. Nothing should be too dangerous as of yet. And here we are brought into the concept of scan mode, if you will, or scan mode, where our weapons are disabled because we use the primary fire button to scan things when we're in range. Scan mode is new. In comparison to Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries, you don't have that. And honestly, I like scan mode. I was concerned about it in the beginning, but it does make scanning things, such as assets and things for pickup later, I think smoother and easier than it was in Mercenaries. In Mercenaries, you had to get super close, which is fine. You got to get close here, but then you had to like use the use key or whatever, and you were still able to shoot and do stuff, which kind of neat, but also was a little bit janky feeling at times, at least to me. Not that it was impossible, it was fine, but I just think this cleaned it up a bit better. This lets you also do more with less need of worry, because in scan mode you can't shoot, but you can hack things, do things, and that sort of nature. So here we're just dealing with some light vehicles. Again, nothing crazy. Let me know in the comments if you are a clan or an Inner Sphere fan, and what faction is your favorite of whatever you're a favorite of. Or fan of, I should say, not a favorite of. So here we see how bad I am at shooting at times, especially on vehicles because they're pretty small. But we have a zoom in function. I will say I do miss Mechwarrior 4's zoom in function, which you could get a little kind of like rectangular screen of super zoomed in, almost like a scope. Really helpful, especially trying to do some of that snipe-esque gameplay. So here we have some mechs again. We had one before. We have a Shadowhawk and I believe a Firestarter here. These are actual mechs from the Inner Sphere. These are old Star League era, you could say, or thereabouts, that are still in production in the Inner Sphere and utilized. But these are drone piloted, just to give us a sense of danger and training. Everything's live fire, though. We are taking damage. We can damage our allies. And, that could be problematic. These, the Firestarter is a light mech. It's not a big deal. The Shadowhawk or whatever isn't too much heavier either, especially for a 5-star or 5-point star. Have you ever noticed the HUD gets a little wavy, a little bit like distorted? That's a couple of things. There is war gear in this game known as active probes and ECM suite, otherwise known as a Beagle active probe and a Guardian ECM suite as well in the lore. And the ECM can be used for electronic warfare, which can mess with sensors and scramble things up, give you a longer period of time to lock on with missiles, and just make it hard to tell your damage, your opponent's damage, where they are, and your radar. And that's the scrambly effect. Also, if you notice, I have an ERPPC, particle projector cannon, my favorite energy weapon, probably my favorite weapon in the game of Battletech. And when you fire that, particularly close range, or you're hit by it, it will temporarily distort your HUD as well, because it does that. All right, so we just learned how to scan things. That will come in play. Just looking around and enjoying the scenery. Scanning will come in play throughout the actual campaign. And here we learn that you can take over and hack turret control towers, because the turrets are automated, and it's a control tower that does that. And this allows you, instead of having to waste ammunition or take some extra damage, it doesn't always pop up, but when it does, it's definitely worthwhile to hack and take control of those turrets. Commando Light Mech. This thing's kind of iconic in the Mechwarrior series at the very least, because, well, Mechwarrior 2 Mercenaries, you kind of start off with that thing. It's in Mech Commander. It's in Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries, and here in Clans, and in Mechwarrior Online. It's pretty iconic. There you can see jump jets in action also on stuff we're fighting. It's hit or miss, honestly, how effective jump jets actually are. It can be really helpful for traversing terrain and kind of hopping over mechs and getting some maneuverability in there. But I think it's more of a personal preference thing than saying it's outright better or worse to have a mech with it. An important note about mech damage, as you saw there on the crab, you have different sections of your mech. I guess I'll go into that since it doesn't really go into that in the game. The different sections of your mech include the head, which is the cockpit. Whatever the cockpit is, or wherever it is, that's considered the head. You have that. You have the center torso. You have a left and right torso. You have left and right arm, left and right leg, and of course rear armor. And then inside of that is internal structure. So if you blow up the armor or pierce the armor enough, you can damage the internal structure. And once the internal structure is destroyed, then that section is destroyed. Now, if you destroy the left torso before you deal with the left arm, it blows up the left arm as well. The thing about that is the left torso is more heavily armored than the left arm, so it can be hard to do that. And in cases where you're trying to disable systems because they can really hurt you, sometimes you have to just fire at those systems and not at the torso. A destruction of an enemy mech will always be the destruction of the center torso or the destruction of the cockpit. Everything else just is going to slow it down and cause a ruckus and everything, and cripple it, which is important, but not exactly the same thing as outright, taking them out. So these mech bays, these are pretty sparse in the actual campaign, and in the actual campaign, they only really have one use. These, I think, have unlimited or heavy amount of usage. You can see I'm in the battle map here. That's something I didn't bring up before. Your allies are numbered 2 through 5. And you can basically select them by either clicking on the little dot number or on their little tab on the bottom, and then you right click what you want them to do, more or less, in the battle map. I don't really use it much at all, with the exception of telling them to repair. That's the only way you can do that. So here I'm going to tell another mech to repair again. They won't disobey your orders unless it's physically impossible for them to do something. But the reason I'm doing that is I told Ezra to go repair, but I didn't realize I did, so I thought I didn't, and then I told him to go repair again, and without realizing the fact that Ezra has some internal structure damage, which is why, even though fully repaired, it only does armor and ammunition resupply. Any destroyed components or internal damage in a repair bay is not repaired, because that's more than a field repair. And that's when I noticed that, he's got internal structure damage. That stays with you no matter how many repairs you do until you're done with the mission. So we're about ready to wrap up this first tutorial mission. It's of a decent length. I really like it. It goes over things. I think it's a decent blend of pace as well as taking into consideration the experience of the player. Are you new to kind of Battletech and Mechwarrior in general? Do you have some experience under your belt? Are you returning and dusting the rust off? That type of deal. Because while yes, you have things you have to do, there is no time limit to rush you. You can take your time. There's plenty of distance between the 2 or 3 objectives. And this final objective, you manually start when you want to. So if you want to take time to maneuver around and just get a better feel, you could. So I appreciate that. It's not too lengthy of a tutorial mission insofar as it doesn't, if you're going through this for your multiple playthrough or whatever, it's not like a snooze fest where you're like, okay, here we go. But at the same time, it is, I think, really beneficial for new players. And as far as I can tell, there's no way to skip this because it's very much part and intricate of to the story. So you can see our radar. Blue is allies. Green is your star. So when you see blue mechs that are circled, blue circles, those are allied mechs not under your control. Green are the ones under your control, and blue are allied assets. Turrets and vehicles show up as like little V's on the radar, where mechs tend to show up as either triangle, pretty much show up as triangles and the like. Really cool final fight area. Again, I just really enjoy the setting and the terrain. The summoner has like these 3 weapons, as I said, but honestly, especially after their kind of retweaking of ammo economy in the Mechwarrior game here, really not a big deal. Just a little hot drop. So this is a nice little surprise at the end of it. Is a full-on star versus star live fire brawl. Not too bad. They are led by a Hellbringer, which is one of my favorite mechs of the clans and one of my favorite heavy mechs. It's pretty powerfully armed, but has weaker armor as it is a lighter tonnage than the summoner we are in. They have a Kit Fox, which is a light mech. They also have a Nova, which is a medium mech, and then they have a Viper as well. And I don't know what the other one is. Two just drop right there. Yeah, there's the enemy Viper. It's supposed to be 5. I just can't recall because half the time I don't see it. I think they had like maybe 2 Kit Foxes. I have to relook at the footage, but it's not important. The point is that you get, after doing everything, you get dropped into a hot fight scenario in which you have to take out an enemy star. Now, nobody dies here. In fact, it even says it in it to make sure, try not to kill any of them. But that is the live fire exercise of the clans. So, quite brutal, quite, in terms of lore-wise, obviously as the tutorial mission is a nice little end to it. It gives you a pretty nice taste of just how fast-paced combat can be in this game without being crazy. Again, like, super easy to clear. I took the most damage because I basically face tanked things when I really shouldn't have. But doesn't really matter because it's a tutorial mission, so we don't have to worry about things too much. I like how the cockpit reacts when you do have some structural damage and taking heavy damage. The screens blink and whatever else. And that's our first mission ever in this game. I think it's a nice introduction to Mechwarrior overall and clans overall. Exposition heavy with all the cutscene stuff that happen and to follow, but kind of important when you consider the fact that this could be somebody's first taste, right, of what's going down for the setting overall. Great sound design as well, music and sound effect wise.
That's all, kids. The last drill we'll ever have to run in this hellhole.
Thought they would let us rest before tomorrow's trials.
I hacked old One Eye's message feed. He's still sore we've been outperforming his prized pupils.
So this is his last attempt at trying to get us to wash out?
That, or soften us up for tomorrow's opponents to kill us for good.
I still find it hard to believe that you got away with hacking the base's mail server.
I'm not stupid. I just watch and observe. Not act on anything I find. They don't even know I've compromised the system.
If you are not careful, that little hobby of yours will get you killed someday.
Come on, Ez. You used to be a better hacker than me.
Yeah, but when I was caught, I actually got punished for it. Command likely knows and is just letting you slide because you hold the Founder's name.
Not funny. You know I hate that.
And you know we all share his bloodline too, right?
Oh, they don't treat any of you like you should be the second coming of Sakan Liam Ismail.
Come on. This might be the last time we get to tease you about this. We will likely be ransomed to different galaxies when we make Warrior.
You never know. We might get lucky and serve in the same cluster.
Hopefully we get lucky then. Anyways, let us get cleaned up and grab some chow.
One last meal for the road.
At least the food will be better when we are warriors.
And for that reason alone, it will be worth it.
I like this cutscene. It might seem unnecessary, but I like how it humanizes these clan warriors because
What is that?
the lore makes them seem just
Just
like
finishing
bred in
up.
battle killing machines, but they're still people. So I appreciate this little touch.
Grey Ridge Mountains. Mistlink's training facility. From Launderhome?
Yeah,
I have not seen this logo since we left. What is with these 5 stars?
us. The last 5 surviving members of our original SIPCO.
5 of nearly 100.
Attrition rates do run high in training, not just from fatalities, but washouts as well.
Is everything okay?
Kit Commander Ismail refused my request to transfer to the science cast. Tomorrow, I will either become a warrior or wash out.
Nasir, your performance is just as good as any of us. You will do fine.
I only keep up because we work together as a team. I do not think I can do this on my own.
Tomorrow will be just like any other day. One that we have trained our entire lives for.
Literally.
Doubt is the only thing standing in your way. Do not let it win. Spend some time in the sim pods tonight if you have to.
I think I will.
And when you finish, do mine up too. Just like yours.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That way a part of you will be right there with me for my trial.
Well, thanks, Jaden. That means a lot. Good hunting tomorrow.
Nice little leadership thing right there. Pretty cool. Simcoe is as close as you're going to get for True-Born Warriors to a family for most clans, by the way. Again, a lot of exposition, a lot of things to kind of take in, especially if you're newer. But I like how they touch upon this stuff. It's just enough to make you go, huh, this seems important, without just giving you a textbook droning on. And cue the fire trucks, if you hear that in the background.
Time has come. Kid Jaden. Ahead of you lies your trial of position. Your final test is a SIPCO trainee that will show your true worth to the Smoke Jaguar clan. 3 opponents await you. To be recognized as a warrior of the clans, you must best at least one. Kill or be killed. Success will secure your position as a warrior of the clans, based on the number of mechs you destroy. Failure will forever see you expelled from the warrior caste, where you will instead find station as a common laborer. Do you understand the task that lays before you?
Kit Commander, I am prepared.
Every cadet says that. Only you control your future, Jaden. And the real question is, what do you want from it?
To rise above all. To take a blood name and lead my own cluster. In the name of Smoke Jaguar.
Lofty goal indeed. One that many seek. If leadership is what you truly desire, then you must best at least 2 opponents to earn the rank of Star Commander.
2 kills. Star Commander. It will be mine.
We are Smoke Jaguar. True-born warriors selectively bred for war over generations. Our destiny to one day return from exile and reclaim Terra will not be handed to us. It will fall to those sharp enough to earn their place among our clan's warriors. Make Karinsky look over your glorious rise, Kid Jaden. Good hunting.
We get like Ibrahim's character. I just think they did a very good job with them as your tutorial NPC, basically. So they say kill or be killed, get 2 kills to become Star Commander. You're not literally necessarily killing the person, but the mech. That's why I say kill or be killed, because you can watch out. If you fail because you failed to destroy the mechs before you, then that means they destroyed your mech but didn't necessarily kill you. And that's what they mean by washing you out to become common laborer. Which is a fate for a lot of True Born Warriors they consider to be worse than dying trying. So there is that. Here we are in our trusty summoner, making our way towards the trial area.
Proceed along the designated nav route to the proving grounds. Your trial of position awaits.
Acknowledged, Commander.
This would have to be pretty intense, right? Imagine literally training your entire life for your tryouts, more or less, and this is it. It's all or nothing at this particular moment. That is the fate of True Born Warriors. They literally have been bred for battle, like he said, in the cutscene. So here we are, going to the Proving Grounds. Really cool area, too, when you see it. I just think they did a very good job with all of the locations, but Huntress in particular just really stands out for me. Probably because I'm a fan of this clan.
Kid Jade, you have been called to a trial of position. If you are victorious, the Smoke Jaguar will embrace the latest Mechwarrior worthy of the clan's tumen. If you fail, then the death of the incompetent is the death of a feeble progeny. And a testament to our glorious ways. May the founders Franklin Osis and your progenitor Liam Ismail grant you strength.
There's our first opponent. It's a Mad Dog, and Mad Dogs actually have a pretty decent firepower, so you don't want to get caught out in the open too much. Yeah, I just think that the attention to detail put into this game. I mean, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries also had a great detail. I just think there's definitely no faulting that, but just coming back to the clans to be able to play them after 30 years almost it just makes it all the better. And I like how this is a bit different from perhaps the way clans are portrayed when they're the antagonists, because they're portrayed as just these bred for battle on killing machines, barely human, but they are human, and I just like the way that we get some of those touches here. Now, one could say that Clan Smoke Jaguar got a little bit of retconning here but they're still quite fierce and bloodthirsty and powerful warriors, so it's not quite a retcon in my opinion. But in any case, here we are making short order of the Mad Dog. The autocannon, our LBX autocannon, is actually a pretty good once we're in range. Decent firepower, decent rate of fire, so we're pretty good for dueling in a summoner, you could say, but still, we could be overwhelmed by firepower by certain mechs, and a Mad Dog could have definitely been one of them if we're not careful. The Hellbringer. Now, both the Mad Dog and the Hellbringer are less weight than the Summoner, but they do pack some punch, and the Hellbringer packs a good amount of punch. Unfortunately, the AI kind of gets tripped up here, but it's not like it couldn't move out of the way, and I think partially it was doing something to try and keep itself safe because it was in an area it wasn't expecting to fall into, but it was still plenty capable of attacking and everything, and that happens pretty much right here. Because I've had AI down here before, and they would walk off, so I think it was just trying to avoid my my flanking capabilities or what have you, or it could just have been stuck. So here you see the electronic countermeasure stuff in action. My HUD's all a flicker. I can't see the target on the radar. The Hellbringer, on top of having a lot of firepower, also has electronic warfare capabilities as well. This comes at the cost of armor, especially on the center torso, unfortunately, making it a bit, not so much a glass cannon, but making it hit hard, but also take some damage if you're not too careful. But it definitely has plenty of punch in it to be a threat, so you don't want to just get caught out in an absolute slugfest with it. But As you can see, he doesn't want to maneuver off of that rock for whatever reasoning, so I just decide to lay into it, and we have a good old-fashioned slugfest. Luckily, it's lighter armor, and my firepower make it work out, and that's our second kill to become Star Commander. We're called Kit, by the way, because we're in a Sibco, and the trainees in a Sibco for Smoke Jaguar are called Kit. That's not anything part of our name. Oh boy, it's a Timberwolf. The Timberwolf is heavier than the Summoner, and this is a cutscene, so you can't avoid this, but it's really cool. The Timberwolf is in all of its glory. It is a powerhouse of a machine. Iconic, symbolizing clan strength, symbolizing the clan invasion. It just looks cool, even in the redesign they did with Mechwarrior Online to what it looks like here, which is from Mechwarrior Online. As you can see, we failed, but we did not fail. We got destroyed. We didn't destroy the Timberwolf, but we weren't killed. The goal isn't to kill necessarily, unless it so happens that way.
Of its newest Mechwarrior into the Tumen. With 2 confirmed combat kills, I give to you Jaden Smoke Jaguar. And demand you recognize him as a Star Commander.
We have no blood name, so we're Jaden Smoke Jaguar. Tumen is the clan's military. That's what they call it. And that's the last mission we'll play on Huntress. The rest is going to be cutscene. So we'll just discuss a little bit along the way. We now have our insignia, if you will, like clan symbol thing in general, reminiscent of the Star Lake symbol, and our Star Commander little thing on our neck tag there, a little metal.
Look at you, Star Commander.
Can't believe we all made it.
Hey. Where's Nasir?
Particle cannon to the cockpit. No time to eject.
So Nasir was killed in combat, which is part of the trial. It's a very real plausibility.
Nothing you could do, Jaden. The trial was something we all had to face alone. Kill or be killed.
I was worried I might not see any of you again. What are you all doing here?
All of you, please, follow me.
Half Star Colonel.
Star Colonel's about Star Commander. She doesn't look impressed.
I present to you Galaxy Commander Cordera Perez.
Very high rank.
Come join me.
Star Commander.
I invited you and your fellow Sibkin here because I was told by Kick Commander Ismail that you four are exceptionally attuned to one another in the field. Is that an accurate assessment?
Half Galaxy Commander. It is.
Jaden Smoke Jaguar, in accordance with our ways, I, Galaxy Commander Cordera Perez, formally extend to you a ransom. In exchange for your enlistment under the banner of my Beta Galaxy, I offer to you a star of battle mechs for you to command as you see fit. And this is to be formed by your fellow Sibkin. All of them. Will you serve under my command?
Bargained well and done, Galaxy Commander.
Excellent. Excellent. Your new star will be assigned to the 362nd Assault Cluster. Under Star Colonel Emily Wimmer.
Welcome to the 362nd, the Silver Jaguars. And congratulations to you on a successful trial, Star Commander.
Thank you, Star Colonel. I look forward to working with you and Galaxy Commander Perez for many years to come.
Likewise. I have a warrior, Naomi, that is in need of a new assignment. She will be your star's 5th point.
I look forward to meeting her.
I really like the little showcase of the ransom.
What perfect timing. Some fool of a clan has entered Huntress space looking for a fight.
Who do you think it is, Galaxy Commander?
The Nova Cats. We won a series of trials against them recently. Khan LaRue is looking for retribution. Star Colonel Dieter, what clan dares challenge us in our home system?
None, Galaxy Commander.
Explain.
A jump ship has materialized at Huntress's nadir point, but it is not clan in origin.
How is that possible?
And we have the start of what would become Operation Revival, known as the Clan Invasion, spurred on by this rogue jump ship, you could say, the Outbound Light, which we'll learn about in a moment. All of this, by the way, has been written years and years ago, so this is lore well established that they are replicating or showcasing, if you will, through this game, and I think to a very good effect. So Leo Showers is the Khan of Clan Smoke Jaguar, which is the leader of a clan known as a Khan.
Fellow Khans, I come to you today with a matter of critical importance to the clans. Last month, an unidentified jump ship materialized at a pirate point above our capital on Huntress. After capturing the vessel and interrogating its crew, we have learned that this ship, this outbound light,
Did it say flight or light? I don't remember.
originated from the inner sphere.
Impossible!
I assure you it is not. Capture of this vessel and the intel I am now forwarding to all of you points to one indisputable fact. Great houses of the inner sphere know the secret location of our home world. Now, it is only a matter of time before they bring their greed and their never-ending wars to our doorsteps. Great debate over our return to the inner sphere ends now. We must act. My cause. It is finally time for the children of Karinsky to return home!
The start begins with the 4 clans initially launching the invasion. There are a good portion more clans than 4, so it's interesting. Again, kind of clan belief structure and everything and how it works. But here we start Operation Revival, and that is that. We're gonna basically have one last cutscene before we wrap things up. You will see me manually saving. That is a thing. The jump ship is such a cool little effect there. We can see dropships docked on them. These are warships, by the way, not just jump ships. They are jump-capable warships. But yeah, you do have a manual save function, which you'll see happen.
Patch me in.
And we're going in proper to the invasion.
All hands, we have completed our jump. Stand by for an announcement from Sakan Sarah Weaver.
Centuries ago, our ancestors hurled themselves into the void, hoping to flee a war they knew would come. A war that would end up subjugating all of human space under the boots of the great houses of the inner sphere. Our ancestors' sacrifices became the foundation on which Kerensky's clans were formed. But their dream of one day returning home did not die with them. It lives in all of you, born from blood and steel to bring their hopes, their dreams, and their legacy back to the inner sphere. Today, our long journey through the Exodus Road has come to an end. Now, we begin the first stage of Operation Revival by laying claim to the outer periphery. We will tame this savage outback, to use as our staging ground to bring vengeance down on the tyrants that rule over the inner sphere. And they shall tremble before our might.
There you go. That's the whole setup for the clan invasion, more or less, given to us, and several chunky, awesome cutscenes and a basic tutorial setup. So, like I said, there's a manual save. I highly suggest you take advantage of it. And that's all. So we unlock some stuff. We unlock basically what we're going to be using for the rest of the campaign, this little interface. So that's all. We will kick off part 2 by doing the very first mission of the invasion proper, you could say, or at least the precursor to that, the non-tutorial Huntress stuff. So thanks so much for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed. What's your favorite clan or faction? Let me know in the comment section. And until next time, I'll just end it here. Take care.